How's it going, everyone? It's Sam. The U.S. government seems to be moving about $300 million worth of Bitcoin, and a lot of people are worried that they might go and sell this, causing the price to go down. So I want to talk about that. Keep in mind, I'm not spreading fear, uncertainty, and doubt, just saying what's actually happening. I also want to talk about some crazy statistics for Bitcoin, some really bullish indicators. I want to talk about what came out this morning because we have really good data. If you don't mind, hit subscribe, turn that bell notification underneath the video. If you want to know what I'm buying and selling, you can check out the link below to Patreon. As you can see here, Bitcoin sitting at pretty much the same price that it was at yesterday. Now, we did move up a little bit this morning because of this. We had the CPI come in. I believe PPI is tomorrow too, so be on the lookout for that. But CPI rises 4.8% year over year. The estimate was 5%. Previous was 5.3%, so it came down 0.5% since last month. And CPI also came down pretty significantly. We had CPI go down to 3%, which is crazy. I mean, that's almost in the twos. The Fed wants CPI at 2%. We're at 3%. Forecast was 3.1%. So both came in under expectations. The market is liking that. The overall stock market is up. Now, crypto, like I said, is down or sideways, depending on how you look at it. It was up when this news came out, but there's some other things happening in the background which could be causing a little bit of fear out there. Now, the CPI coming in low is great. We need PPI to come in low. We need PCE to come in low. As long as that continues to happen, that makes it less and less likely that the Fed's going to have to keep rates higher for longer. Now, the terminal rate hasn't really changed too much, or at least the expectation for the next meeting, which is just a few weeks away, really hasn't changed. Previous day and current day probability are the same. There's only a 5.8% chance that we're going to stay at the current rate, but it still means that we won't have to stay at these highly restrictive rates for as long if inflation continues to come down, which is, I think, what most investors are looking for. Getting back to a place where there's really cheap money, that's great for the markets. Now, we have some news here today. This is coming from Whale Chart. Silk Road Bitcoin valued at 300 million moved by U.S. government. This scares the market. It makes it think that they're just going to dump all their crypto. Now, we've known for a while that they did have a significant amount of Bitcoin that they could sell, that they're looking at selling. They even said that. They have about 41,500 Bitcoin, or $1.3 billion, seized from the Silk Road hacker James Zong across 4 batches. Now, this 302 million seems to be on the move, but it's queued for sending by addresses tied to the DOJ. They're actually having a hard time transferring it. They did not give enough money, enough crypto for the transaction fees. They have $8 allocated for the transactions. At this point, these have been waiting for a while. Looks like they're confirmed now, $15 million worth. But at the time of this article, they had been queued for about 20 minutes, another one for over 40 minutes. So it seems like they're moving them. Last time they did sell through Coinbase. They were able to sell some of the Bitcoin. Now, if they would have just held all the Bitcoin that they've sold, they would have actually made $5.6 billion if they just held it. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if the feds and the U.S. government do hold some Bitcoin kind of quietly somehow, but they seem to like to sell the Bitcoin that they get from different hacks and that kind of thing. They do seem to sell that, and maybe they just don't want to be shown holding any Bitcoin while they're still buying Bitcoin in the background. I wouldn't be surprised if they had a little bit, but that's probably on the down low. Makes sense to have some kind of allocation towards it when you essentially can print all the money you want. It would be kind of crazy not to have at least some Bitcoin, but maybe I'm wrong. Now, I think we have to keep in mind that even if they sell Bitcoin, which they are expecting to, I would not be surprised to see that happen. They could do an over-the-counter transaction. They could sell to someone like BlackRock. They could sell to Coinbase. A lot of these exchanges are actually seeing a lot of their crypto be depleted. They're not able to get their hands on enough Bitcoin. We can actually see that here. Huobi, BTC collateral starting to look dangerously low and in danger of a bank run. Our systems monitor collateral at exchanges with 24/7 team coverage. Our risk limits got hit for Huobi last week. Huobi Bitcoin collateral over time as a percentage of peak balances. You can see they're just at a small percentage. They're at less than 10% of the Bitcoin that they held back in January through March of 2020. So they don't have much Bitcoin. If people want to trade with it, people want to withdraw, it could be an issue. And we're seeing balances on all exchanges go down pretty significantly. So I wouldn't be surprised if someone wanted to get their hands on Bitcoin, and instead of just buying it off the open market, they just went to the US government and said, hey, we'll take that off your hands. We can also see something really interesting here. Bitcoin has been taken off exchanges at record volumes. During the first epoch, we actually saw plus 5 Bitcoin a day. Second epoch, plus 768. Third, 1,424 Bitcoin a day. And now we're seeing actually 641 taken off. So it kind of makes sense. At first, a lot of people are mining, but it's barely worth anything. There are barely any exchanges around. So why would you put your Bitcoin on exchanges? You would just mine it and keep it yourself. Then as it becomes more and more easy to sell and transact, and as people want to trade more, they keep it on exchanges more. But now we're seeing a lot of people turn to self-custody after a lot of the exchanges have blown up over the last couple of years. It kind of makes sense. So it's harder and harder to get your hands on significant amounts of Bitcoin right now, which is really bullish. We also just closed above the 200-day moving average. We could go back into a bull market. You can see in 2015, it was pretty much up only. Of course, we did have some down months after 2015, that cross, but it was pretty much the low there when we crossed the 200-day moving average. In 2019, we went above it. Then we kind of fell back down a little bit. We still stayed with closes above the 200-week, or the 200-day. But the fact is, it was still pretty bullish. It just took a couple of months. And then 2023, who knows what happens. But it is a bullish thing when we cross these moving averages. So overall, keep in mind, the Bitcoin on exchanges is going down. People are trying to get their hands on more Bitcoin. Banks are starting to turn around. $800 billion bank Standard Charter predicts Bitcoin will crash to $5,000 back in December of 2022. So not that long ago, 8 months ago. And then in July of 2023, Standard Charter predicts Bitcoin will pump to over $120,000 next year. So they're talking about a 24x difference. And BlackRock pretty much doing the same thing. Back in 2017, Bitcoin is an index of money laundering. Now, BlackRock, Larry Fink, says Bitcoin could revolutionize finance. Banks are changing their tunes. Crypto exchanges are being pushed out because big banks want in. People are buying up Bitcoin at rates that we've never seen before. DOJ might sell some crypto. Could push down the price, but overall, I think that's actually a good thing. Now, keep in mind that it hasn't been confirmed that they're actually selling yet, just that they're moving some of their crypto. They could be doing this for a variety of reasons. Keep that in mind. Let me know your thoughts on this underneath the video, though. It's kind of interesting to see the market not race up after such good CPI news. The traditional market still looks pretty good, but crypto moves in strange ways, so we'll have to see how the rest of the day continues. Let me know your thoughts on this underneath the video. Do you think this is really good news for CPI? Do you think that we're going to see another downturn here soon? Let me know in the comment section. Be careful of scammers down there. I try my best to try to weed them out, but there are hundreds of comments on every video, and you have to go and hit multiple buttons to delete one comment. So I could be doing this for 5 hours, and they're going to refill faster than I can even delete them. So I appreciate you guys watching. Be careful down there. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.